All right, so we are ready to get started today. We're going to start out with our feet hip width apart, maybe a little further, depending on what's comfortable for you. Some nice little arm swing, starting off kind of slow and gentle. And then if everything's feeling good, turn those heels, swing a little further. Really just kind of let your arms do the work here, swinging out to the side, getting some good momentum. And maybe going just a little bit faster. And then maybe even a little faster than that. Let your arms really come out nice and wide. We'll do 2 more on each side. And then bring it back to stillness and move into your arm rotations. Nice big circles going forward. And then backward. And then throw those arms in and out a couple times. Then we're going to move down to our elbows. So nice circles at your elbows. Just getting the joints all loosened up, making sure the fluid's flowing freely in those joints. And then moving on to your wrists. Nice figure 8 circles. And then kind of squeeze your fingers in and out a couple times. When you're lifting weights and you're holding on to the weights, you got to make sure your hands are warmed up a little bit too. Beautiful. From there, bring your feet out just a little bit wider than shoulder width. I'm going to do some nice hip rotations. And go the other way. Beautiful. And from here, we're going to bring our feet in together. Pop your knees forward and back. Warm those up a little bit. And then if everything's feeling good there, go ahead and move those knees around in circles. If the circles don't feel good, leave that off. Just stick with the forward and back. If you're doing circles, go the other way. And then finishing it off with ankle rotations. Feel free to grab a chair or the wall or whatever's nearby if you need to. Rotate that foot the other direction. And then you're going to switch sides. And rotate that one the other direction. Nice. All right. So should have everything nice and loosened up. If there's anything that doesn't feel good, make a note of it. If you need to modify, absolutely go ahead. Otherwise, we are ready to get started. We're going to start out with a squat into an overhead press. Now for this one, you might want a little bit heavier weights. So you're going to grab your weights, rack them on your shoulders. You can also do this one with a barbell if you have a barbell, in which case you're going to do a front rack. If you're using the dumbbells, sideways is good. You're going to do your squat, come up, press overhead. That's all we're doing. We got this. 1 minute. Here we go. Make sure your weight's back in your heels. Keep that core nice and tight. You don't want to extend your elbows all the way 100% locked out. Keep a little bend in them. 20 seconds to go. Almost there. If you find that when you're here, your back is arching, that means your weight's a little higher than what you're ready for. So go down just a little bit of weight. And time. All right, from here, we're gonna move straight into a half kneel with a bicep curl. So you're gonna have your left foot up, your right knee down, and you're gonna use a medium to heavy weight, depending on what you wanna do for a bicep curl. You're gonna go one direction, curl, and the other direction, curl. You're just going back and forth. Keep that tummy tucked in nice and tight. 1 minute on the clock, here we go. We've got curl to this side, curl to this side. Beautiful. Relax those shoulders down and back. Keep your tummy zipped up tight, but don't let your shoulders squinch up by your ears. Nice and steady. Only 15 seconds left. Control the weight in both directions, up and down. And time. Beautiful. All right, take a second, take a breath, and then we got to switch to the other side. So go ahead and adjust. Make sure you're in a good, comfortable spot on the floor. Maybe a little extra cushion under your knee if you need it. Same thing. Shift that dumbbell to the other hand, and you're just curling to one side of your leg and the other side. 1 minute on the clock. Still keeping the shoulders down, still keeping the tummy tucked in tight. Imagine you're trying to suck your rib cage, the two sides in towards each other, and pull your belly button back towards your spine. If you need a little extra support, you can let your elbow rest on your leg. If not, hold it up out a little bit away from your body to get a little extra work in. Almost there. 5 more seconds. And time. Beautiful. All right, from here, we're gonna set the weights aside for a second. We're gonna do a bird dog crunch. So for that, we're gonna be in a tabletop position, and we're gonna go opposite hand and opposite leg out, crunch in together, set them down, switch to the other side. So we're really working our core here, also getting some work through our shoulders and arms. 1 minute, here we go. So opposite hand, opposite foot, crunch in, put it down, switch to the other side. Make sure you're pulling that crunch in nice and tight, really squeeze through your tummy. Halfway there. Keep breathing. Nice and steady, you got 10 more seconds. And time. Excellent. All right, from here, we're gonna go down on our back. And we're gonna do flies into a narrow chest press. Now, if flies are a little more challenging for you, you might wanna go down to a lighter weight. You're gonna start with your elbows tucked in nice and tight by your sides. Push up for the narrow press, fly it down and back up, keeping a soft bend in your elbows, and then bring it back in. We've got 1 minute on the clock. Here we go. Narrow press, fly it down and back up, and then bring it back in. Keep breathing, nice and steady, controlling the weight in both directions. Don't let it just fall with gravity. Almost there. Keep, nice, good job. All right. Last one we're gonna do is a glute bridge with a chest pump. So for this one, I'm gonna go all the way down to my lighter weights. This is gonna work the triceps. We're gonna hold a glute bridge the entire time. So that means you're gonna push up from your heels, raising your hips up towards the sky, pulling your knees in towards each other. And you're just gonna stay in that position for the full minute. While you're in that position, you're gonna do those chest pumps with your weight to work the back of that tricep. All right, we've got 1 minute on the clock. Here we go. Push those hips up nice and steady and start pumping away. Keep your eyes up towards the ceiling, head, neck, and back in a straight line. Knees pulling in towards each other. Hold it nice and tight. If you feel that your bottom is starting to sag just a little bit, that's okay, it happens. Try to squeeze and pull it up if you can. If not, as long as you're still holding it off the ground, you're still working. Almost there. And time. Beautiful. All right. That was one set down. Go grab some water, and then we have 2 sets to go. All right. Bring it back in. We're moving back to that overhead press with the squat. You can stay on your heavy weight, or if you need to, go a little bit lighter, whatever works for you. I always like to assess on the second set and make any adjustments that I need to. We've got 1 minute on the clock. Here we go. Rack them up to your shoulders, squat, and press. Looking good. Keep the weight in the heels. Lift your toes up if you need to. Give yourself a little reminder. Almost there. About 10 more seconds. And time. Beautiful. All right, back to that half kneeling bicep curl. I like to use a medium weight on this one. All right, remember we're curling to either side of the leg, getting a little twist through the torso while we work that bicep. 1 minute, here we go. Slow and steady. Really focus on keeping your tummy sucked in nice and tight so that you get a lot of work out of that twist while you're doing the bicep curl. Remember, for extra support, rest your elbow on your leg. For a little extra work, hold that elbow out away from the body. Just a little. Almost there. And time. Beautiful. All right, switch sides. Make sure your knees are nice and comfortable. Grab an extra cushion if needed. 1 minute. Here we go. Still sucking that belly in. Still relaxing the shoulders down. Check in, make sure you're not clenching your jaw. If you are, go ahead and relax that. Let your tongue fall away from the roof of your mouth. Just a few more seconds. You've got this. And time. All right, from here, we're gonna set those weights aside and move into that bird dog crunch. So go back to your tabletop position. Again, checking in, making sure your knees and wrists are comfortable. Adding extra cushioning if needed. All right, we've got 1 minute on the clock. Opposite hand, opposite foot, squeeze them in, put them down. Really focusing on the stretch out and the squeeze in. Halfway there. I like to hold that squeeze for just a second. Really make sure I'm getting that crunch in. 10 more seconds. And time. All right, from here, we're going back down onto our backs for that narrow press into the fly. 1 minute on the clock. Here we go. Remember to keep that soft bend in the elbow while you're doing that fly. Really targeting the chest muscles here. Keep breathing. Keeping your eyes straight ahead. So looking up to the ceiling in this case. And time. Beautiful. All right, our last one is that glute bridge with the chest pumps. Go ahead and get the appropriate weight for you for your triceps. We have 1 minute on the clock. Here we go. Push those hips up, draw the knees in towards each other, and start pumping away. Keep it up. Nice and steady. Check in, make sure you're not sagging. Try to push those hips up just a little higher. Almost there. And time. Beautiful. All right, that is 2 sets down. Go grab some water and then we have 1 more to go. All right, bring it back in. Back to the squat plus the overhead press. Check in, or if you're feeling good, stick with the same weight. If you're starting to get tired, maybe go down a level. 1 minute on the clock. Here we go. Rack them up, squat and press. Looking good. Still sinking that weight back in the heels. Lifting the toes off the floor for a little reminder. Almost there, 10 seconds. And time. Beautiful. All right, up next, the half kneel with the bicep curl. 1 minute on the clock. Here we go. You got it, looking good. Squeezing the tummy in. Really working that one bicep. Oh, I'm feeling the burn. Almost there. And time. Excellent. Switch sides. Got to tighten my weights back down. And 1 minute. Here we go. Halfway there already. 30 seconds to go. Still squeezing the tummy in. Still feeling the burn in that bicep. And time. Beautiful. All right, set the weights aside. One more round of the bird dog crunch. One minute on the clock. Here we go. Stretch it out, squeeze it in, set it down. Keep breathing. Almost there. 10 more seconds. And time. All right. Next up, we're back down flat on our back. Whew. Maybe stretch those shoulders out just a little bit first. And then we've got our narrow press with our flies. Make sure your feet are nice and solidly planted. Elbows in tight by your side. 1 minute on the clock. Here we go. Press it up, fly it down, and then do it in reverse. If you find that you're starting to get tired, you might need to go down and wait a little bit. It's always okay to adjust, even in the middle of a set. You do what your body is telling you it needs. Almost there. Keep breathing. One more, and time. All right, for the last one, we have that glute bridge again, moving into our chest pumps. So still keeping those feet planted nice and firm. Draw the knees in together, push the hips up. We have 1 minute on the clock. Here we go. Just bringing that weight down horizontally towards your pectoral muscle, the upper shoulder, and chest. Working the tricep. Last one. You got this. You find those hips are sagging, put an extra little squeeze in there, try to lift them up. Ten more seconds. And time. Whew, all right. Go ahead and set those weights off to the side. Grab some water, and then we have some stretching to do. All right, bring it back in for our final stretch. We're gonna do a seated stretch today. So you're gonna start sitting on the floor with your feet out in front of you. Keep a nice bend in your knee, whatever feels comfortable for you. You're gonna start with taking a nice deep breath and bring your arms up over your head. And then you're gonna fold forward, reaching towards your toes. If you can grab your toes, go for it, and then pull in just a little bit extra. If not, reach whatever you can, and then pull yourself just a little bit until you feel right at the edge of your limit. Release, walk your hands up your legs. From here, we're gonna take one arm and go over to the other side, just for a little gentle twist, looking behind you. And then release, back to center, and go the other way. And release, back to center. From here, you're gonna bring your feet out to the sides. And again, you're gonna take one arm and just kind of lean over towards the opposite foot till you feel a nice stretch through your side body. Pause here for just a second. And then from here, you're gonna rotate around, bring your nose down towards your knee, and reach for that foot. Release the foot if you're holding it, slide yourself back up, and then we're gonna go to the other side. Bring that arm up and over. Stretch through that side body. You should feel it all through here around the ribs. And then from here, we're just gonna turn nose towards knee, reach for that foot if you can, and just sink down into that stretch a little bit. And release, walk your hands back up. From here, you're gonna take one arm, bring it across your body, that nice shoulder stretch. And then you're gonna turn your head to look over that shoulder. And if it feels good, go ahead and tilt your nose down towards your shoulder. It's getting windy here. And release. Go to the other side. Look over that shoulder. And then if it feels good, tilt your head down towards your shoulder. And release. All right, last one, we're gonna bring our feet in, bottoms of the feet together. Grab those toes. You can use your elbows to push your legs down a little bit to get a little bit more stretch, or not if it's good for you. And then you're just gonna lean in until you feel a good stretch through your hips. You wanna try to keep a nice flat back here so you're really getting the stretching action in your hips, not through your back. And release. Bring those knees in together. Give them just a little squeeze. And then you are all done. Fantastic job.